Mets had a rough welcome for the Braves to New York City last night, taking game one of this two-game series, and the fans are ready for this afternoon game. Got the program for sale. See this Mets team that's played good baseball, 25-21 since the beginning of July. Starting lineups are in. Jonathan Neese getting the start at Citi Field this afternoon from Citi Field in Flushing, New York. Mets baseball on SNY. Mets and the Atlanta Braves here today. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside Citi Field. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. The other fellows will be along in just a moment. So this Mets team playing good baseball, much better baseball the last 2 months. We've seen it, and lots of contributions from the young guys. Yeah, the veterans are there too. Marlon Byrd, a career high, his 21st home run last night. But the development of the young pitchers has been the story of this team all year long. And last night, all eyes on Zach Wheeler, who was terrific again. He seems to be getting better each start now. Early, he had everything working. Going with the heat there. The fastball was electric, blowing it by Braves all night long. Had the changeup at times as well, but you saw he had Hayward chasing. He had everyone going after things. But then he got some help, too, the defense. Romer Flores helping to turn two, and Wheeler getting Schaefer. A terrific effort. 6-2 third innings, allowed 3 runs, and he got the win. He's now 6-2 in his last 3 starts. The results have been really good for Wheeler. He's pitching well. The Mets are winning, and it's all been good. But that's not the only reason the Mets have been winning really since July, when I told you they have that winning record. As we welcome in Scott Rice now. And Scott, this bullpen has been great. The 4th best in Major League Baseball since the beginning of July. Why as a group do you think have you guys been so successful?
You know, I think that we're all pulling for each other. We're all going out there and we're taking pride in building off each other's outings. So every time we go out there, you know, we see someone else do good and we want to do better. We're very healthy competitiveness.
They went away, but actually the whole bullpen just came out behind you. They wanted to show a little support there. Is that what that is?
That's exactly what we're all about. You know, everything we do it together. So it's great.
All right, tell me about last night. You come in, Andrelton Simmons has the bases clearing double, so all of a sudden they have the tying run on third, and you're facing Freddie Freeman, who's a difficult hitter. Tell me about what you're thinking in that at-bat. You got him to fly out.
Well, yeah, you know, he's a great hitter, and I know what his approach is, and so I'm trying to, you know, just throw some pitches down, get him to, you know, hit my pitch and, you know, get out of that inning.
Scott, biggest challenge for you, your first Major League season. You've seemingly gotten better as the season's gone on. What's your body feeling right now? What's the biggest challenge to finish out the year?
You know, I'm feeling great right now. It's, you know, Terry and I and Dan and everyone, we've, you know, been getting me to, you know, on a more of a consistent work program, and so with all that going, it's, I feel great.
All right, well, great job last night. Thanks for the time. Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
Scott Rice in this Mets bullpen doing well. Meanwhile, Jonathan Neese gets the call. His 3rd start coming back from the DL against Alex Wood. Mets and Braves first pitch is next. baseball on SNY, and today's game brought to you by Audi, truth in engineering. By Cholula Hot Sauce with the iconic wooden cap, as we all know by now. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Pat Cawley from Glendale. By the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive events. And by Verizon. Great shot of Citi Field and a nice warm summer day. The Honda Summer Clearance event gives us the drive around the majors this afternoon. Yasiel Puig, eventful day for him. First he was benched for being late, then he hit the go-ahead pinch hit home run for Don Mattingly and the Dodgers, who continue to seemingly win every single day. Paul Goldschmidt's having an MVP-type year, grand slam, 100 RBIs for him now on the season. Corbin the win, Diamondbacks victorious. And remember that shot that Joe Mauer took on Monday? Placed on the concussion list for the DL, and Mauer was having a good year hitting the baseball for Minnesota. On the mound today, it's a couple of left-handers for the Mets and the Braves as the Mets try to take the first two games of this three-game series. Alex Wood, the rookie, making his third start against the Mets. He's allowed 5 runs in 7 1/3 innings in the first 2 starts, but he's pitched very well his last 3 times on the mound. And Jonathan Neese making his third start coming off the DL. His last start, very good. 6 innings, 1 run against the Padres. Great day for baseball. Gary, Keith have the call. First pitch on SNY. Coming right back.
Justin Upton out of the lineup for the second straight day with a strained upper back, and so a very different look for Freddie Gonzalez today. Puts Joey Turdoslavich into the lineup, just his 8th major league start. Gerald Laird gets the start behind the plate. B.J. Upton, who starts only against lefties, will be in there as well, as the Braves try to avoid getting swept. And John Neese tried to go to 3-0 since coming off the disabled list.
Well, John Neese is 2 starts coming back, 2-0. A nice start in San Diego last time out. His curveball has really been effective for him. It's the best I've seen him throw in a long time. And we'll take a look at the Lexus Metropolitan defense. Mr. Buck is back in the lineup, and new father, proud father. And Satin gets a start, of course. It's a left-hander, so Satin will get the start at first base. And by the way, he's Keith.
I'm Gary. Thanks to Kevin for doing the heavy lifting today.
You may not recognize me without the mustache.
You know, the bobblehead has no mustache.
I know.
The Gary, Keith, and Ron bobblehead that'll be given away to the lucky 1,000 people who buy the bobblehead package for next Tuesday night.
I'd like to know why our director and producer chose to put us on the air, like on a close-up.
On camera?
Yeah.
Well, it's part of our job. You got to look good for the camera. And you did.
Well,
you fulfilled your obligation perfectly there.
Play ball.
Indeed. Jason Hayward leads off against John Neese. Hayward 0 for 4 last night. First pitch of the day is on the inside corner, a strike, and we're underway. Hayward having a great run of it since being moved to the leadoff spot 21 games ago. And he drives this one to center field, but right at Juan Lagares, and that is the first out of the day. So Hayward is retired. 1 out and nobody on. That's going with something of an offbeat defensive look today, with Satin at first and Turner at short and Brown in left. So it's one of those days where Neese needs to be on his game. He struck out 9 in his last start in San Diego, which was just 1 shy of his career high. And this is a Braves team that does strike out more than any other in the National League. Here's Andrelton Simmons, 1 for 3 last night. He had the 3-run double that provided the Braves with all their offense. That was against Carlos Torres right after Zach Wheeler left the game in the 7th inning. Simmons with a bases clearing double got the Braves within a run, but Scott Rice came in to get a big out. Gonzalez, Herman, and LaTroy Hawkins pitched the 8th and 9th, and the Mets got out of it with a 5-3 win. Neese pitched terrific baseball in San Diego that last time out, allowed just a run on 6 hits in 6 innings, a 5-2 Met win. And a changeup low and away to Simmons. 2 balls and a strike. There's your umpiring crew. Greg Gibson has the plate today. Jerry Lane is the crew chief. He's at first. Hunter Wendelstedt, a second-generation big league umpire, and Alan Porter rounding out the crew. Simmons 2 for 8 in his career against Neese, and he takes it low. 3 balls and a strike. This is the 3rd time that Neese has faced the Braves this year. He does not have happy memories against Atlanta this season. First time he faced them in early May, he got routed, 7 runs, 7 hits in 4 innings in a 9-4 loss. And the second time he faced them, well, in some ways that was worse, because that was the start that put him on the disabled list. He had to leave in the 4th inning when his shoulder just would not allow him to go any further, and it took him 52 days to get back to the mound. Now his 3rd start since coming back. 3-2 to Simmons, and he misses with the off-speed pitch, and he issues a 1-out walk. So he's thrown a lot of change-ups in that turn at bat against Simmons, and he winds up issuing the walk, and now he'll face Freddie Freeman with a man on.
Well, I mentioned that Neese's breaking ball has been outstanding in his first 2 starts back, and the reason why is his velocity is a little down. Remember, he's got to be a little bit worried about that rotator cuff. It's got to be in the back of his mind. So if he's got a little less velocity, he's going to have more break on his curve. You see there, 88 miles an hour on that fastball.
Freddie Freeman 2 for 4 last night, had singles his first 2 times up against Zach Wheeler. Freeman 7th in the National League in batting at .311, 5th in the league in RBIs with 82. And he grounds one past the mound right at the bag. Turner on second base, throws on to first for the double play. 6-6-3 neatly as they come, and that gets Neese through the opening inning.
Nice footwork. Very good. Justin. Only his 6th start at shortstop, making it look easy.
Other than the pitcher, only one left-handed bat in the lineup against Alex Wood, who's been tough on lefties. So Justin Turner gets the start at short. Josh Satin at first. Andrew Brown in left. A day off for Eric Young as the Mets face Wood for the third time.
Well, Wood out of the University of Georgia is 1 year removed in the big leagues. Originally took the spot of Paul Maholm, and then when Hudson went down, they kept him in the rotation. Weird motion. Look at that.
And while Lagares takes a strike, somewhat reminiscent of the fine lefty for the White Sox, Chris Sale, in the way he delivers. Lagares 1 for 4 last night, and he falls behind on the count 0-2.
I wish we had Rusty Staub nearby, because one of the great deceptive motions of all time in baseball history, left-hander Kurt Simmons of the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies.
And Lagares out on 3 pitches, down looking at the fastball. And Greg Gibson has served notice that he's going to have a large strike zone today.
That might have been it. So when they drafted this young man, they were pretty much told, okay, the Braves wanted him because he's a Georgia kid, and the Braves love to draft out of Georgia, and they do a good job of that. They were told, don't change him. If you're going to draft him, don't change his motion. And I agree. No one has to be spit out of a computer and have the same swing, the same approach. That is a very, very deceptive motion. Look at him. It hides the ball, that big shoulder lift. That, to me, would make me want to just think up the middle, short, line drives. See the ball out of his hand first, because you're going to see it late because the body's hiding everything.
0-2 to Murphy, and that just misses outside. Murphy has a 7-game hitting streak going, hitting a .275 for the year. Murph is in the top 10 in the league in both hits and runs scored. Marlon Byrd on deck. And the curveball lined into left field, and that's going to fall for a base hit.
And Murph has the right approach. Gets a hanger right there. Murph had no intention of going deep, trying to drive the ball. It's just a nice short stroke. Setup guy in the lineup in the number 2 hole. Got a hanger.
So the Mets have a 1-out base runner, and now the red-hot Marlon Byrd, who has homered each of the last 2 days. Monday in Minneapolis, he tied his career high, and then last night set a new career high with 21 home runs. The home run in the 8th inning put the game away for, a home run in the 6th inning gave the Mets a 4-0 lead yesterday.
Well, here it is. That's a career high for Marlon for the season. 21. He likes that ball down and in. You know, so many hitters today, they're all low ball hitters. Used to be in the old days, right-handers were high ball hitters. Not anymore.
And Brandon Beachy, who threw that pitch, said after the game that he thought he threw a pretty good pitch, but he said in retrospect, he should have bounced it.
Okay. Well, they can put it where they want all the time.
But that's, that's the way Byrd is going. I mean, he is just in a tremendous hot streak right now.
Well, we've seen Marlon enough. We have seen him pretty much every day. You have more than I have. And down and in is his power spot.
It's this one out to right field, chasing Hayward back to the edge of the track. And that's the 2nd out. So Byrd flies out, 2 away.
I keep forgetting I got the middle monitor. Ron's not here. The Coors Light Braves defense. Hayward, boy, Gold Glove winner, and did he make a Gold Glove catch last night in right center field? Made a great diving catch. Both teams with different lineups today. Got Terdoslavich in left field. Did I pronounce that right?
That's good. You notice we have to go to the smaller font on Terdoslavich to get his name in there.
He's in left, and of course Laird is behind the plate. Always a day game following a night game.
Can we just call him Joey T? Would that be okay? Here's Andrew Brown, who's been red hot. There goes the runner. Throwing from his knees is Laird, and Murphy has a stolen base. So Murph just keeps on stealing them. That's 16 now for Murphy as he keeps extending his career high.
Well, good jump, throw from the knees. One way we will not pronounce Terdoshlavich's name, and that's his first syllable. We won't go there.
That's only the 2nd stolen base against Alex Wood in his rookie year. And the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 2 out. Brown has 8 hits in his last 13 at bats, and he's driven in 6 runs. in that span. So he has been raging hot. Had a pinch hit single last night. A ball and a strike from Wood. So Brown has earned himself some more playing time. This is only the 13th game he started for the Mets. He's had only 79 at bats, but he's in the cleanup spot today against the left-hander with Josh Satin on deck. So Terry Collins trying to take advantage of the hot hand. 2 balls and a strike. Brown got to start at DH in Minnesota on Monday and had a couple of hits. Andrews been back and forth between the Mets and Las Vegas a couple of times this year, but proving his value right now and in the lineup, giving Eric Young a day off. 2-1 from Wood, and the changeup popped up in foul ground. Freeman coming over, has room, and that retires the side. A hit and 1 left. We go to the second at Citi Field with no score. TV, call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
I have DirecTV down in Florida and up here in New York. I could love the baseball package, the football package. I'm on board.
Maybe they'll ask you to do a personal endorsement. Chris Johnson leads off in the second and fouls off the John Deese fastball. Johnson fell out of the National League batting lead by going 1 for 4 last night. He's hitting .334, 2 points behind Yadier Molina for the league lead. Gerald Laird the on deck batter, then Joey T. So we've already made the transition. And Neese comes inside with a cutter, 1 ball 1 strike. And Neese is definitely down a couple of miles in velocity from where he was Friday in San Diego. He was throwing consistent 90-91 with his fastball, 88 with his cutter. And the changeup fouled off, 1 and 2, and he's already thrown more changeups in this game than he probably threw that entire game on Friday. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. There you see your National League batting leaders.
We had a switcheroo here, a new leader today.
Neese ahead 1 and 2, and Johnson hits the cutter past the mound. Charging is Turner and throws him out. What a way. And he's getting in on the hands of the right-hand batter. 1 out and nobody on, and now Gerald Laird will come to bat. Laird getting the start against the left-hander with Brian McCann on the bench. McCann went 1 for 4 last night. Laird is having his best offensive season at age 33. Hitting .277, .368 on base percentage. He's never been that high before. Recently came back from a bout with kidney stones that knocked him onto the disabled list. And he takes ball 1. While Laird had a problem that had nothing to do with the rigors of being a catcher, Fly ball hit to right, and Bird hurries over and gets there for the out, 2 out. It has been noted that there's an alarming trend of catchers going on the concussion disabled list. Joe Mauer is the latest. There are currently 5 catchers on the 7-day concussion disabled list, including the Tigers' Alex Avila, who may or may not be able to come back by the time the Tigers get here this weekend.
I just want to know what happened to the days when we were kids growing up. Excuse me, Gary. Kids growing up and the catchers wore just a hat. Remember? They didn't wear any kind of a skull cap or a helmet.
Here's Turdoslavich, and he takes inside. Well, I think it's clear that just about everybody who has played sports has suffered concussions, and much more attention is being paid to it now. And I guess it accounts for, you know, some of the entertainment value of our broadcasts.
Some of my memory loss, possibly.
I mean, you talk to anybody who has been a catcher or has played football, you know, 20, 30 years ago, and they suffered dozens of concussions.
Yes.
And it certainly did damage, but I think the extent of it is only now being realized. The backdoor cutter gets Turdoslavich looking, and Neese has his first strikeout. It's a 1-2-3 inning for John. No score in the second. Game, you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day during every Mets game now on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Josh Satin leads off in the home second inning. This is Satin's 29th start.
Yes.
He has reached base at all 28 thus far.
Hitting .314 in those 28 starts. And the bulk of his starts have been at first base.
You see the Mets rookie record for consecutive starts reaching base belongs to Steve Henderson with 29. The other record that Satin is chasing that might be a little more problematic, the record for a Met for most games reaching base from the start of a season. John Olerud, 1999, reached base the first 57 games. So he's got a long way to go.
That was the great year Olerud had, right?
Well, actually, 98 he hit .354. 99 he didn't have quite as good a year, but still,
you know, was
tremendous.
He was so much under the radar screen, such a fine player and a good fielder.
He was so quiet.
Yep.
Satin lines one to left field, and he's on base again. So that ties the Mets rookie record. 29 straight games Satin has reached, and the Mets have their second hit off Alex Wood.
Well, Satin hasn't got a home run this year. Not a lot of power, but sorry, one home run. Forgive me, I forgot. Fastball in. He's very quick. Inside. Little leg kick. That's perfect balance. That's a nice swing. Quick hands.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on in the second. And now Justin Turner getting the start at shortstop today against the left-hander.
And the last couple games, Terry Collins has put on the hit and run a couple times. Very interesting. Something he hasn't done. See if he does it today.
Turner's been swinging the bat well. 7 hits in his last 21 at-bats.
He's hitting almost 300 since his return from the disabled list. And Turner is a guy you can hit and run with. He goes the other way naturally. There's a big hole between second and first. There you go. Relaying of the signs.
From point to point to point.
Signal Corps.
I got a question for you that I don't think I've ever asked before. Why does the manager have to flash signs to the third base coach? Why doesn't the hitter just pick up the signs from the manager?
No, the hitter has to be focused on there. No. You don't want to be looking in the dugout. I think it's kind of what you're brought up with, and you always look down.
Right. I mean, it's traditional. It's what's always been done. But the question is, why do there have to be 2 sets of signs from manager to coach to player? Why did it evolve that way?
Well, wouldn't it look weird if I'm the left-hand hitter and I have to turn my back to look into the first base dugout of the manager?
Well,
I don't think I'd like that.
The right-hand hitter has to turn around to see the third base coach.
I understand. I don't think I'd like it. That's my point.
Turner pops it up in foul ground, and Freeman is there, and that's the first out of the inning. It's one of those existential questions.
Very, very peculiar.
Perfect for a weekday afternoon. Save 42% off Mets tickets for games August 24th through the 29th. When the Mets host the Tigers and the Phillies, log on to Mets.com/strikeout to take advantage of this offer. Based on the 42 strikeouts the Met pitching staff rung up in the 4 games in San Diego. So here's Wilmer Flores, who took an 0 for last night, 0 for 4. This is now his 12th big league start. 1 out and 1 on. And he takes the changeup outside from Alex Wood.
Bit surprised that defenses are not shading Flores in the outfield, in particular, more the opposite field. We know we've seen enough of Flores. He goes into that right center field gap.
And fastball strike, 1-1. You see the majority of Flores's hits have gone to right field,
which I like, coming up guys that go the other way, because you learn to pull. And this is Flores's 12th start, as Gary's just said. And when does a player become comfortable? Well, you know, every day you come to the park, you're facing a pitcher you've never faced before, the first run through the league. So you have to get that out of the way first. And then, and particularly, it's more difficult in today's game with the three divisions, and you don't play as much.
And interleague play.
And interleague, exactly. And more use of bullpen, more pitchers, 12 pitchers instead of 10. It takes a while. I think you don't get comfortable until you put that little memory bank on every pitcher, how they like to pitch you. And that has to, you know, some guys, that's when you come up, you really got to just look fastball and react. Go up there, because you don't know what the guy's tendencies are.
Well, that brings up an interesting point. You know, we talk all the time about how much more information players now have in terms of scouting reports and video. So if you're a young player who's just in the early stage of their career and you don't know the pitchers, can you get overloaded on that information, or do you need to just look for fastball and react? Which is the better way?
Well,
or does it depend on the individual?
As I said last night, if I had $1 for every called third strike fastball, we'd both be millionaires. Too much guessing. The computer can be very useful with all the data you can mine.
And there's ball 4, and Flores works out the walk. So the Mets have 2 men on.
But like I always say, are you going to pitch? Freddie Freeman, this was a left-hand hitter, the same way you're going to pitch Paul Yanish if Paul Yanish was a left-hand hitter. You're not. So every left-hand pitcher of Y throws X amount of curveballs, changeups, and 2-1 counts. Well, come on. It's how they pitch you.
Satin and Flores the base runners. John Buck the batter. Last played Thursday in San Diego. His first game back since the birth of his 3rd son. His last at bat in that Thursday game in San Diego, Buck hit a home run, his 15th of the season. Getting the start today against the left-hander, day game after a night game. The plan is for Travis d'Arnaud to get the bulk of the playing time. d'Arnaud has made 4 starts, got his first hit last night. Terry Collins was asked today what the ratio is going to be and how much Buck will play, and he said he's got a plan. He's not going to put numbers on it, but that Buck will get some playing time, but as the backup. And here he is today. 1-2 to John. The pitcher Nice on deck. There's Travis. Got that first hit out of the way in his last at bat yesterday.
And it was a rope.
A double to left center. Did it with his dad in the ballpark. Said it was a nice relief to get that out of the way.
No fooling.
What ahead 1-2, and he comes inside to Buck 2-2.
Interesting how John Buck is hitting under on the interstate against left-handers. 179 against lefties. Right-handers hitting 233. It's a funny game.
Pickoff try, and Satin gets the hand back in.
Well, Satin, who's not Speedy Gonzalez by any stretch of the imagination. There, he got his hands dirty now. He's going to have to go in and muddy field. It's a sunny day. They probably watered it down a little bit more because it's going to bake as the day progresses.
2-2, and Buck pops one up. The second baseman Yanish out. The right fielder Hayward all the way in to make the catch, and that's the second out.
Tell you what, Hayward is a hustler. He takes pride in his defense, and thus rewarded last year with that gold glove. Well,
from what he's done against the Mets, particularly here at Citi Field this year, he may win another one. He made that great catch against Turner to end a game back in July, playing center field, and then that wonderful catch he made last night against Juan Lagares. Here's John Nice with 2 out and 2 on, and John takes a strike. He's 5 for 25. He's hitting 200. 1 RBI this year.
Defense on the infield should be shifted more to the opposite field. Nice goes that way anyway, and you got a pitcher once every 5th day. I always had the infield shaded the opposite field, unless you had a good hitter. And there were some good hitters, but most pitchers aren't great hitters, and John's a threat. But we've been around enough to see John goes the other way. Yanish at short shouldn't even worry about Satin. He should get up over there in the hole. And I'm kind of being a stickler here. I'm getting focused on defense. Johnson can get off the line a little bit and
but
cover
he
that
always
hole.
plays the line. He plays the line against everybody.
He should get more in the hole. You want to take this away from Nice.
Off the plate, boxed around by Laird, but no advance. 2-2.
And even Freddie Freeman, look where he's at over at first base. He's playing like a. If I was playing where Freddie's playing, that's where I would play John Milner or Willie McCovey. Pull hitters. Get in the hole. Allow the second baseman to get more up the middle. Enough of that.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 to Nice. So you keep going.
No, that's enough.
Tap down to third, and Johnson is there to play it. And throws out Nice to end the inning. So the Mets strand a couple in the second. Nice will head back to the mound for the third. A scoreless game on a gorgeous afternoon in New York. Brooklyn Burger, the premium steakhouse burger and the official burger of the New York Mets. Visit Keith's Grill. There it is at Citi Field, located on the field level behind section 132 to enjoy Keith's favorite Brooklyn burger. Looks like they're doing pretty good business there.
They do well there. It's a good burger. It's good quality meat.
Your Mets upcoming schedule presented by New York Community Bank. You can listen to all Mets games on Sports Radio 66 and Sports Radio 101.9 FM WFAN. Mets get a day off tomorrow, and then the Tigers come in for 3 over the weekend. Phillies are in for 4 after that before the Mets proceed to Washington.
And hopeful that Cabrera is going to be playing.
Well, he hurt himself again his last at bat yesterday as B.J. Upton leads off in the 3rd. Cabrera's had a variety of problems. He's got a leg injury that makes it difficult for him to run. He's had this abdominal injury as Upton hits one right at the plate, a foul ball. And it's 0-2. And apparently Miguel Cabrera re-injured himself in his last at bat in last night's game against the Twins. And so the Tigers play tonight and tomorrow afternoon before they come here. So we'll see just how serious it is. He's been able to play through all these ailments, and he's having another phenomenal year. Can he win back-to-back triple crowns, which nobody's ever done? That might be hard with Chris Davis ahead of him in home runs.
I don't think he's going to catch him.
B.J. Upton getting the start in center field today after Jordan Schaefer played last night. B.J. 0 for his last 20 today. As you look at Paul Janisch on deck, B.J. Upton is celebrating his 29th birthday. Got one at bat last night and looked just awful striking out against LaTroy Hawkins in the 9th inning.
Did you see his runners in scoring position numbers? Oh my folks, this is he's 093 with runners in scoring position. I will give you the exact numbers. 7 for 75. Oh my word. And then with 2 outs, he's 024. He's 1 for 42. And I hate to pour it on, but that's significant. I don't think I've ever seen someone really struggling like that with men on base.
It's been hard to watch. I mean, he has been just dreadful from day one.
I think I would do something drastic if that was me.
3-2 from Neese, and a foul tip is held by Buck. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Neese. Well, you know, we've seen guys struggle in the first year of multi-year contracts. Certainly Josh Hamilton this year in Anaheim. Go back to Carlos Beltran, his first year here in New York. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody struggle in the first year of a long-term contract the way Upton has.
Well, they gave him a ton of money.
5 years, $75 million.
I think he's lost his confidence.
Giannis drops down a bunt, and that'll go foul.
Oh, obviously he's lost his confidence.
Well, the Mets almost signed Michael Bourne. They got Marlon Byrd instead, and they've gotten a lot more production. Heck, they've gotten more production out of Juan Lagares than they would have for Michael Bourne. The numbers are rather underwhelming for most of the free agents, although Torrey Hunter's had a terrific year with the Tigers, batting second in that order in front of the big bats of Cabrera and Fielder.
How about Josh Hamilton? Gosh, what a bad year he's having. So there's a lot of pressure when you come, and I can speak to that, Garrett. You know, I signed an extension of 5 years with the Mets, and I felt the pressure. You know, at that point when I signed that $8.5 million contract extension for 5 years, that was a lot of money, and I felt it. I was glad we opened up on the road.
Giannis trying to bunt for the second time of the at bat, bunts it right into the glove of Neese for the second out.
I didn't want to open up at home, and we opened up, I remember, in '84 in Cincinnati, and I had a terrible series, and then went down to Houston, and I remember going to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to Houston, I don't see the ball well there, we're going to get Ryan Nepper, Mike Scott, and I go, boy, I better get it in gear. I didn't want to come home opening day in New York with my batting average on the interstate. But I had a good series in Houston, and I was on my way, thank goodness. So, yes.
Now, do you think it's different for somebody like yourself who had already played for the team that he signed with?
No, I don't think.
I mean, you were in pretty much the same position that Piazza was when he played that half a season here and then signed the extension.
I think that it affected Mike. Mike had that miserable start with the Mets when
he first got here,
yes.
but not after he signed the extension.
Correct.
Right?
But it's the same thing, though. He came to a new. Don't think he didn't feel the pressure,
right.
Mike. I mean, please. We're all human beings.
Wood strikes out to end the inning. He faces the minimum over the first 3. That's his 3rd strikeout. Looking sharp again today. No score at Citi Field. To Kevin Burkhardt, who has today's view from the Pepsi porch. Kev?
Well, we were talking about Jeremy Hefner in Minnesota and about his second opinion. He's getting that Monday in Alabama with Dr. James Andrews. He feels like Tommy John surgery is probably going to happen. It was recommended to him by the Mets team doctors, and he said he saw it coming. He said, you know, it's funny. When I look back now, I did pitch through pain, even when I was doing well. And then when I started going south for those couple starts, it was hard to say anything. I was having success. I was having a good year. I didn't want to kind of come out of the lineup. But once I realized that it was really hurting the team, it was time to say something. Jeremy's never had surgery of any kind, so this will be a first for him. And it's not only that procedure, but he's also got what they feel are probably bone chips that may have come loose in there as well. And think about what he did. I mean, you're talking about from 8 starts from June 4th to July 12th, 3-1 with a 1.76 ERA, 40 strikeouts and 8 walks. And you can imagine the disappointment now having to wait to get back on the horse again. Gary?
Lagares lifts one out to left, and Turdoslavich over to get it, 1 out.
Lagares just missed that one. Good cut, right, got under it.
Well, talking to Jeremy today, it's such an odd thing because he was in such great pain right when he was in the middle of that hot streak. And he said he'd go in and the trainers would take care of him and do all the things that were necessary to get him from start to start. He'd come out of each start and he'd be in excruciating pain, but they were able to patch him together and he was going out his pitching well. So what do? You're supposed to see a doctor when you're pitching like that,
right.
And he did not until after the All-Star break when he got out of his rhythm a little bit and things went south in a hurry, and that's when they finally got it checked out.
And Jeremy getting on a roll there where he's worked so hard to get to the big leagues. It's tough.
0-2 to Daniel Murphy, who had a base hit and stole a base his first time up. And you feel for Jeremy because if he has Tommy John surgery, he will miss most, if not all, of next season. And it looks like that's the way it's going to go. And, look at where he is and where this franchise is at right now. He was in a position to hold on to a spot in a rotation that all of a sudden is going to be populated with the younger, harder throwing pitchers.
But to look on the bright side, there are a bunch of other teams.
And a flip into left field, and Murphy's 2 for 2. The second time he's been behind in the count and just knocked it into left field.
Well, the good hitters go the other way with 2 strikes, particularly lefty-lefty. Daniel certainly does that.
Murphy now has 142 hits. He's 6th in the National League in base hits.
How about his runs scored, Gar?
72 runs, 9th in the league, which is amazing when you consider that Murphy's on base percentage is low. It came into the day at .309. So he's not getting on base at a great clip. He's not playing in front of hitters who are driving in 100 runs. As Bird hits one deep to center field, B.J. Upton has it lined up though, and he goes back to get it. Murphy went back to tag, but a little tardy, and that's the second out. So it's kind of shocking to look up and see Murphy with that high a number of runs scored.
It means he's been driven in by somebody.
Well, also part of that is his increased stolen base rate. Well, I mean, he's stealing bases like he never has before.
But it's only 15 stolen bases. So let's say he scored in all 15 every time he stole a base. He scored. You know, so someone's driving him in,
right? Well, I mean, Bird has driven in 70 runs this year, but there's nobody else in the club who's over 60. It's not. I mean, unless Bird has a huge last 6 weeks, he's probably not going to drive in 100 runs.
I mean, Daniel has an outside chance to score 100 runs. He's certainly going to score 90. And that's what you want. I mean, gosh, if you can get 90+ runs from your 1-2 hitters.
But I think there's something to be said for the aggressive base running of this team. It's been a big part of the reason they've been able to outperform their other offensive numbers. And Murphy's been a big part of that.
Agreed.
Heck, scoring from second base on an infield hit the other day. The Mets are 9th in on-base percentage, 13th in slugging percentage, 10th in home runs, but they're 7th in runs scored. So the difference, for the most part, is in their base run.
And another thing, too, I know the stolen base now is not as important in the new philosophies. Well, you know what? Wood's thrown over a bunch of times on Murph. He threw over a bunch of times on Satin. I don't know why. Close play at first, got back. It upsets a pitcher's rhythm. You cannot tell me, and have I spoken to Ron Darling, who played the Cardinals with all that speed in the 80s, that takes away from the focus of the pitcher and gives him something else to think about.
So it's not just the stolen base, it's the threat of the stolen base.
Threat of the stolen
creates the problem.
It puts pressure on the defense, and it keeps a pitcher out of his rhythm. The pitcher really wants to get the ball and throw home, get into a groove. I would love to see the 85 Cardinals in today's game. Though those 80s Cardinals, see what havoc they'd be like little elves, little pixies running around.
Vince Coleman and Willie McGee.
Oh gosh, they'd give them fits. They wouldn't know. I don't think they'd know what to do.
Andrew Brown fouled out to first his first time up. Murphy's stolen base in the first inning was only the second against Alex Wood this season. And Brown hits it in the air out to right field, and Hayward is there, and that retires the side. So 3 fly ball outs for Wood in that third inning. On to the fourth we go. John Neese back to the mound with no score. Buck in the lineup today behind the plate. Travis d'Arnaud had started the last 4 games. So Buck's role has appreciably changed since coming back from paternity leave. Terry talked about it yesterday.
John Buck's not at the end of his career by any stretch of the imagination. So don't think this is John Buck being the coach. This is John Buck being a professional and trying to help one of his teammates get better, as he did with Anthony Recker, as he's done with anybody else who would be up here. And I told him, I said, you got to get ready to play each and every day. You've got to, we will ask for your input in a lot of pregame stuff to get Travis ready to catch our staff and to get ready for the opposition. Especially this division better than anybody. He's been in it for 3 years. And his knowledge is going to be used to the max.
The mentoring thing is great, but ultimately for John Buck, it's going to be about playing time. So the question is, if going forward, Travis d'Arnaud is the #1 catcher for this team and probably will catch 120 games, injuries notwithstanding next year, as Hayward hits one to shallow left and Turner, the shortstop, is there, 1 away. Would John Buck be at a point in his career where he would want to come back next year and be d'Arnaud's backup, or is he at a point in his career where he will seek to be a starter somewhere else?
Does he have that option?
Well, I assume that he would. I'm assuming that they would want him back to be the backup.
I'm sure he wants to play every day. Who doesn't? John's a pro. He's been around. He knows the story. He knew coming in. So those are choices that he'll have to make. I think that there's a possibility for him to start somewhere. He'll go. Who wants to sit the pine?
Right. So the question is, will he have that chance? He's 33 years old now. He came here thinking that by June or July at the latest that d'Arnaud would be here and starting, and that he would be the backup. So the question is, at what point in your career, if you're somebody like John Buck, do you acknowledge that my best shot at being a productive player for a long time is to accept a backup role, as opposed to chasing a starting role that might not be there?
Well, because of the injuries to d'Arnaud that prevented him from playing most of the season.
Line into left center, and the Braves have their first hit. Chased down by Lagares. Simmons is going to try for 2, challenging Lagares. Murphy with the tag. He got him. Another notch on the belt for Juan Lagares as he guns down Simmons for the second out.
Well, watch him throw the ball. He on the just a spin here. Doesn't plant. Just a quick plant and throw. That is a terrific play, and I believe that is his 11th outfield assist. Yes.
A guy who didn't even become a starter until 2.5 months into the season. Here's Freddie Freeman grinding one down to first. Satin handles it himself, and Nice has still faced the minimum through the first 4 innings. Close play at second base. Murphy got the tag on Simmons. Lagares makes another tremendous play. But what else is new? No score as we go to the exclusive one-on-one interview. Plus, get to know new special teams coach Ben Kotwika. Find out about the interesting career he had before football on Jets Nation Inside Camp Sunday at 7 on SNY. Josh Satin leads off for the Mets in the home fourth in a scoreless game. Josh has one of the Mets' 3 hits against Alex Wood. Well, Juan Lagares now has 11 outfield assists. He's been a starter since the middle of June. He's now tied for the league lead in outfield assists.
Satin drives one deep left field, right down the line. That ball is out of here. Josh Satin with his second home run of the year, and he gives the Mets a 1-0 lead.
Josh Satin crushing one. Not known for his power, but he showed it off there. And the Mets strike first.
Oh, what did I say? Not much power earlier? Or maybe I should say it more often. Josh this ball's way out. That's 3/4 of the way back in that section. Right down the line. It was a hanging flat slider that he launched on. Oh, fastball. He just turned inside. Belt high. He got it. Good for him.
Checked it out to make sure it stayed fair. It did. And Satin has his second major league home run. Hit the first one July 3rd against the former Brave Randall Delgado of the Diamondbacks.
That's only the second home run that Alex Wood has given up this year, both to right-handers.
Well, Satin 2 for 2 today. Continues to shine in his starts, and Turner takes a call third strike.
Likes that inside corner, doesn't he? That's another complaint. Lagares, remember, struck out his first time up on a called strike inside corner. And each time the glove on Laird moved in a little bit. So he's given the inside corner to the pitchers.
Those have been the only 2 strikeouts for Alex Wood. Check out the overhead.
And it's too close to take. That is, I can see him making that call.
Now Wilmer Flores takes outside. Flores drew a walk his first time up.
So if you've got an umpire that's calling the third inside corner as a pitcher or a catcher, wouldn't you recognize that and start pounding in if you're going to get that call? Because a lot of umpires don't call an inside strike.
Right. 22-year-old Alex Wood, just his 7th big league start, 3 of the 7 against the Mets. And that's lined up the middle, a base hit for Flores. So Wilmer's aboard for the second time. And the Mets have their 5th hit against Wood.
Well, Wilmer keeps getting his base hits, does he not?
Now the aforementioned John Buck, who flied out his first time up. Slow ground ball. Wood off the mound, has time, and throws out Buck for the second out. You know, I was thinking about Buck and the fact that he's now taking a back seat to d'Arnaud. In many ways, it's a similar experience to the one he had last year in Miami. Remember, they made the trade for Rob Brantley when they made that big deal with the Tigers, and Brantley took over much of the playing time late in the year, and Buck, who had been the starter again, had to, take a subsidiary role. So it's not like he hasn't been down this path before.
Well, Buck last year hit, hit under 200 last year for the Marlins, if you recall. And that's not going to get you in the lineup on a daily basis.
Here's Neese with a runner at second and 2 out.
So one thing about John's solid behind the plate. He's very involved. He's a team guy. He's got power. So he's a valuable asset to a ball club, but everyday player, maybe not. I just thought early in the year they wore him out. You know, they caught him every day.
Well, they really had no choice. He
Right.
was carrying them offensively with all the home runs he hit early in the year.
Yep, and they had to stay with him with that incredible April he had, and I think he got worn out a little bit.
He'd never tell you that.
Of course. I
1-2 to Nice.
Stunned when that one day we played. The Mets played was it 16 inning extra inning game, and he caught all 16 innings, and he the next day he did a full leg workout. I'm just like, what are you doing? Let your legs rest. Those legs got plenty of workout over 16 innings.
2-2 to Nice. Out to left field, and Terdoslovich stumbled a bit, but he's there to make the catch to retire the side. The Mets score first. Josh Satin with his second major league home run, and he crushed it. Satin with the leadoff home run, and the Mets lead at 1-0 as we go to the fifth at Citi Field.
Fifth inning, and it's time to give away my score. Well, it's Score with Keith. Excuse me. I will ask the question about my life and time in baseball. When you know the drill, the 17th correct answer that is tweeted to SNYTV with the hashtag Score with Keith will win one of my autograph scorecards. Remember, you have to be following SNYTV on Twitter in order to win. Today's question is, what year was I inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame? Chew on that one.
We have to find a way to streamline that copy.
I know. I have to speed read it.
Chris Johnson leading off in the fifth inning against John Neese, who now has the lead for the first time.
And speaking of chewing on it.
Yes.
I wonder how Jake Picker is doing today. Our producer's son Jake had 4 wisdom teeth pulled, I understand. He's a little under the weather. Jake, buck up, pal. I don't want to hear any complaining. Your dad's been here saying you're complaining. Let's go. Tough it up.
0-2 from Neese, and he misses high. 1-2.
There's no crying and wisdom teeth pulling.
Well, actually. Gerald Laird on deck. And Johnson takes the cutter inside. 2-2.
Jake, I can tell you from past experience, it's the lower ones you got to watch out for. They can get infected because the blood can't drain. So make sure you take your antibiotics.
2-2 on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. He says his 4th strikeout as Johnson is caught looking.
Little cutter on the back door. Good pitch. Right there. You got it.
In the post-wisdom teeth pulling world, there's only one question: Percocet or Vicodin?
Well, the children now, teenagers, got to be careful.
Well, you have to dole them out judiciously.
You need a little pain. I mean, I don't like pain pills, but when you get your teeth pulled, you need it for a few days. Jake, did it feel weird when you put the clamps on your teeth and you can't feel it and you hear the noise and then pulling the tooth out?
Now you're making me sick to my stomach. You got to stop. Here's the 0-2. Laird takes it wide. 1-2. I think your tonsils out is better. You just eat ice cream.
They put you out for tonsils, right?
Yeah, but when you wake up, you eat ice cream. That makes it better. Laird rips one down the left field line. He's got himself an extra base hit. And he rumbles into second base with a 1-out double. So just the second hit off Nice, and the first one to reach without being thrown out.
Got a little cutter down and in. Went down and got it.
So the tying run in scoring position with 1 out, and now Joey Turdoslavich, who took a call third strike his first time up. Turdoslavich just 48 big league at bats. Hit .318 with 18 home runs in AAA before he was called up on a late swing foul. 0-1. Got that shoulder to shoulder look on the back of his jersey.
Yes.
12 letters.
Oh, up and in fastball.
That's a good one, and it's 0-2. He's no William Van Landingham.
Remind me of the old days in football when you had those Carl Kosulki and Jim Katkavich, those old linemen with those long Slavic names, I guess.
And that one busted him on his hands. Will it roll fair? They'll see if it does. And it did not.
Jim Weatherwax.
Weatherwax?
That was, yes. I go back a little further than you.
Well, the problem is when you get the smaller players with the long names like Steve Lombardozzi. That thing goes from his waist up over his shoulders and back down the other side. Here's the 0-2, and Turdoslavich fouls it off. 93 from Nice. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown today.
I like that.
SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Tying run at second with 1 out. Nice ahead on Turdoslavich, 0-2. And again he comes inside. He fouls it off. I think the major league record remains 14 letters in a last name. Van Landingham had 14 and Saltalamacchia has 14. Don't think there's ever been a 15.
Well, the strangest name was the San Diego Padre backup catcher that had the eye chart.
Doug Goosh.
Yes. Spell that for the folks.
GWODSZ.
That was the strangest name I've ever come across.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
They called him eye chart perfect.
At least it was only 1 syllable. 1-2. Yeah, that misses inside. I mean, Saltalamacchia, that's 6 syllables. I had enough trouble with Encarnacion, which is 5.
Is that Italian or Greek? Probably Italian, huh?
Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, Italian.
Here's the 2-2. And Turdoslavich takes outside, and now it's a full count. So after Nice got ahead of him 0-2, Turdoslavich working it full with B.J. Upton on deck. Nice has walked 1. He's struck out 4. Allowed no runs and 2 hits. And it's out to right field. Bird coming over toward the line, looking through the sunglasses. And he gets there. Tagging at second is Laird, and he'll make it over to third.
You know, we haven't mentioned that Andrew Brown got the starting job today in left field. I guess Terry Collins rewarding Andrew with swinging the bat well. But I thought that maybe Bird would have gotten a day off today and Brown would have gone in right field, and Young would have, from the left-hander from the right side, his good side, would have played left. But they're running Bird out there. Bird's been the only guy driving in runs. I mean, I wouldn't pitch to him.
He's been relentless. Mets are going to shift their infield a bit to the left against B.J. Upton with the tying run at 3rd and 2 out. And B.J. just looking awful.
He does. He looks like he's been out in the desert for can't find his way out. I've been there. Wow.
That's what he's done with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. 1 for 42. Keith referenced it earlier, and now it comes into play.
I don't like to look at negative things on statistics, but when they're that stark, when it's worth mention. That's tough to do.
Well, you have to feel for him.
I mean,
that's just awful. B.J. Bossman Jr. Upton. Here's the 0-2 upstairs. His dad Manny was the original Bossman. That's why B.J. is Bossman Jr. Old travel team teammate of David Wright's back in the day. Here's the 1-2 from Neese, and it's flared foul. Paul Janisch would be next. Laird at 3rd and 2 out. One-two from Neese, and he comes inside. 2-2 to Upton.
91 miles an hour, so John's starting to get loose.
He's gotten 1 up to 93 in this inning.
He hasn't skipped a beat. He's just kind of been pitching great. He's had great command, Gare.
It seems like he's gotten better and better. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Neese fans Upton for the 2nd time, his 5th strikeout. 5 scoreless innings for John Neese, halfway through 1-0 Mets. Call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Here's City probables for the series against the Tigers. Carlos Torres makes the start Friday night against Doug Fister. The marquee matchup on Saturday, Matt Harvey against Max Scherzer. And then Sunday, Dylan G against Rick Porcello, the New Jersey native. Call strike to Juan Lagares as we start the bottom of the 5th. Lagares leading off today is 0 for 2. He's taking a call third strike and flied out to left. And he golfs this one in the air to right. In comes Hayward on the run. He has to play it on a hop.
Trying for 2 is Lagares. The throw by Hayward, and he's not in time. Great hustle by Lagares.
With the play right in front of him, he took off. And he beat the recovery by Hayward for a 2-base hit.
I think he caught Hayward by surprise here. Watch him kind of double clutch. Okay, finds it. Oh, he looked up. Nice hustle by Lagares. The hustle down the line is what made Hayward look up and miss the ball, and he didn't miss a beat. He really turns the corners tight at Lagares. He cuts those bases sharp. Nice hustle.
So the Mets have their 6th hit. Lagares with his 17th double of the year. And now Daniel Murphy is 2 for 2. Twice has flicked the ball into left field. And he hits this one in the air to left, chasing Terdoslavich back deep, and it's over his head, but he runs it down. Wow, what a play by Terdoslavich. Looked like that ball had beaten him, but he was able to make the over-the-shoulder catch for a very tough first out.
This is over the shoulder. I'm not being contemporary. Unitas to Raymond Berry. Touchdown. What a catch. That's like Willie Mays.
Well, let's not get carried away. But it was a terrific play by Terdoslavich.
I'm trying to embellish the broadcast.
You can say it was almost as good as a Juan Lagares catch.
That's, either way you slice it, that's a heck of a play.
It was. So a tough one for Murphy. First time he's been retired today. And now Marlon Byrd with a runner at second and 1 out. Takes a fastball strike. Byrd is 0 for 2. He's flied to right, flied to center.
Tough play for Lagares to tag up. The ball's in left field. Now right field, it would have been a much easier read for him. Obviously a longer throw. You got Terdoslavich, I said it right, out there. You don't really know what kind of a fielder he is, and he didn't run after this ball. He was slow getting back. So I'd have to say halfway. Well, he got caught in between, didn't he? The mistake there is either you tag up or you go halfway. Don't get caught in between. You did not quite know what to do. My feeling was get down the line halfway.
Just off the plate to Byrd, 1 and 2. And the other thing is, if you tag up there and the ball falls, is there a guarantee you're going to be able to score?
If you're halfway, you walk home.
Right, but I'm saying if you tag up and the ball falls, is there a guarantee you're going to be able to score?
No, you probably maybe not. You better be fast. But if he muffs it and has a hard time relaying it in, yes, Lagares could score.
Byrd chases a fastball out of the strike zone, and he's a strikeout victim. Third strikeout for Alex Wood, and so after the leadoff double, now there are 2 out.
Well, Marlon, who's been so good, I think is having a hard time picking up this funky motion from Wood. Look at your little baby face. Where do the Braves find these arms?
In Georgia. Or in Kokomo. Brandon Beachy.
This kid gets a little more downward tilt on his breaking ball consistently with the changeup he's throwing, with that motion. He is going to be very, very difficult. He is right now.
So Lagares still at second with 2 out. Now Andrew Brown is fouled out to first and fly to right. Hitting in the cleanup spot, and he grounds one to shortstop right at Andrelton Simmons, and that retires the side. So Wood works around the leadoff double with help from Terdoslavich. 5 in the books now at Citi Field. That's up 1-0.
If you can stump Gary, tweet at SNYTV with the trivia question and the answer with the hashtag stump Gary. You go. You're on the hot seat, Gary.
I fully expect to be stumped today. 3 time zones, day game after a night game.
Well, at least it's not like the Jeopardy question. You don't have to spell it correctly.
Or put it in the form of a question. Drive to center field, right at Lagares, and Giannis is retired for the first out. 1 out and nobody on. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, yesterday we started kind of going down the Mets minor leagues, Gary, and really taking a look at this pitching depth that we hear so much about. Just giving you some names to really put in the back of your head and remember whether you see them now or maybe a year and a half, 2 years from now. So we did AAA and AA yesterday. We look at the St. Lucie Mets today, who are in a playoff hunt themselves, by the way. And a guy that's on their radar big time is Matt Bowman. Bowman was a 13th rounder from Princeton in 2012. And this is a guy, he's not a big guy. He's 6 feet. He's listed at only 165 pounds. I think he's a little bit bigger than that. But he played shortstop in Princeton, at Princeton, along with pitcher as well. And he's had a terrific year. Manager Ryan Ellis talked to him today. Could not say enough good things about him. Here's the thing. This doesn't really surprise you considering what school he came from, but he is a hard worker. He's a meticulous note taker as a strikeout for Jonathan East. Down goes Wood, 2 away. And he said he's got his own notebook. So every time he pitches, or even when he doesn't pitch, he's got his own starting lineup. He takes notes on the opposition, and he has a big notebook by now midway through the year. He features his best pitch as probably a split changeup. So Matt Bowman, who I'm told will start at AA next year. Guys?
Well, all those kids aspiring to be major leaguers.
Jason Hayward came in a red-hot hitter into this series. He's been held in check so far. 0 for 2 today, 0 for 6 in the 2 games.
You know, guys, just the other thing, and, you know, again, just trying to give you some names to follow here through the organization. And obviously, a guy's a little bit farther away, but we've been getting 2 from each organization. Another guy's Rainey Lara. He's a 22-year-old. Jumped from Savannah to St. Lucie this year. His numbers don't jump out of the page at you, but great location this year. Had a good outing last night, 4 2/3. Allowed 2 runs, which kind of came on a questionable error, and that game was 4 2/3 because they suspended it for rain. But just another name to keep your eye on that people in the organization have said good things about.
Worth watching for the name alone. Rainey.
I don't know if I like that name, Gary.
He would have fit right in this year.
Well, nothing worse than Homer Bailey for a pitcher.
Bob Walk inside, and
that
Hayward is drilled.
No.
Got him right in the cheek. Wow.
Oh, I got a helmet, and the guy got a break there. Thank goodness it wasn't flush on the face.
Got him in the jaw, though.
Yep. But it got that flap. Thank goodness he had the flap on. Because that has a cushion, and at least a little bit of the blow was softened. If that's the wrong word. Thank goodness.
John Neese, not a guy who hits a lot of batters, only the 4th batter he's hit this year. And Hayward helped to his feet.
Wow.
And not even a thought of him staying in this game. And we'll take him out for x-rays, which they can do right here in the building. Nice to see him walking, but clearly stunned after getting hit in the jaw with a fastball. Well, it's a horrible moment to watch. It is nice to see him able to walk off. But Keith, from a hitter's perspective, that moment when that ball is coming toward you, what does that feel like?
Well, it's split second. It's a sinker. So you're up there going, okay, is it a fastball or is it a breaking ball? And watch, see that ball runs in. Now you're sitting there, look at his shoulders in. You're saying, okay, I got to hang here. It might be a breaking ball. And then you go, I don't see the circle. It's not a curveball. It's a fastball. And you move away, and that sinker runs and follows you back. And believe it or not, when it gets to the point where it's close, Gary, it's like in slow motion, and you wonder, how did I not get my hand up there? You know, but it's happening obviously much more rapidly.
So Jordan Schaefer will run for Hayward at first, and now Neese has got to get himself refocused as he takes on Andrelton Simmons with the tying run at first and 2 out. Now, obviously it's horrible for the hitter, but it'd be traumatic for a pitcher too.
Well, not intentional.
No.
And it's just happens sometimes.
So here's Simmons, who has walked and singled to left center, and he takes the cutter down low for ball 1. Simmons tried to stretch his single into a double. Juan Lagares threw him out with a turning off balance throw. And that's laced into center field, and Simmons has his second hit of the day. Schaefer pulls in at second. So now the tying run is in scoring position with 2 out. And you got Freddie Freeman waltzing to the plate. I don't know. I think if I were Dan Warthen, I'd go out there for a visit.
You took the words out of my mouth. Just say, hey, put it behind you. Stuff like that, it happens. Get this guy.
Freeman is 0 for 2. He's bounced into a double play and grounded to first. And he laces one into center for a base hit. Schaefer to third. He'll be waved home. And Lagares will not make the throw, and the Braves have tied the game. So Freddie Freeman with an RBI single drives in his 83rd run of the year. And after hitting Hayward with a pitch, Neese gives up back-to-back base hits. And the Braves have evened the game at 1.
Fastball away, went right with it downstairs. Freeman, by the way, 400 plus hitter with runners in scoring position, just built on that.
437 coming into the day. So a run is in. Now the go ahead run is in scoring position, and Chris Johnson the batter, and still no visit to the mound. Johnson has grounded out and taken a call third strike, 0 for 2. And he swings and misses at a cutter, 0-1. We will obviously get a medical report on Jason Hayward as soon as we can. Simmons at second, Freeman at first with 2 out. The Braves now with a run and 4 hits. 2 of those hits coming in the last 4 pitches. Johnson has grounded out and struck out today, 0 for 2. And Neese comes inside again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He is just blind to a cutter like this. He's blind. I don't know how the heck he's hitting 334. But another guy hitting 337 with runners in scoring position. He's been clutch, and with 2 outs over 400. That's just outstanding.
And hitting 381 against lefties. Struck him out with a fastball away. So Neese gets through the inning, his 7th strikeout, but the Braves rally to tie after Hayward gets hit. Freeman drives in a run. pinch running for Jason Hayward after Hayward got hit in the face by a pitch. John Neese gave up 2 straight hits after that, and the Braves were able to tie the game. And John was disgusted as he came off the mound.
We hope that Hayward is okay.
Josh Satin has provided the only Met run today with a home run, his 2nd career home run. The only other home run that Alex Wood has given up in his major league career was against Nolan Arenado of the Rockies. Satin is 2 for 2 today, and he fouls that one back, a ball and a strike.
Well, here's the home run, the number 2 for Satin. Fastball in, quick. That ball was way out. Only the 2nd home run given up by Wood this year.
That's then got the leadoff man on against Wood in the 5th on a double by Lagares, but he was stranded. And now the Braves have rallied to tie as the curveball's in for a strike. 1-2 to Satin, with Turner and Flores to follow in the bottom of the 6th.
Wood has been very impressive, very poised for 1 year out of University of Georgia. Did you see the shadow of the blimp go over the field just then?
I did not.
It came from left center field right into the Mets dugout, right over the mound. As Wood was in his motion, I would have stepped out.
That would be wise.
A distraction.
2-2 from Wood to Satin, and he fouled back another fastball. Receiver jerseys we're used to seeing around here.
Kingman jersey. Wow.
A little more rare.
That's right. He was 26 here. I forgot.
Dave Kingman, who had 442 home runs in his major league career. Satin lays off the changeup. Good turn at bat here for Josh. He works it to 3-2. There's that top-handed swing.
Yes, with his top hand, his right hand, very unusual. And Ike Davis likes to take the same one-handed swing with his bottom hand.
8th pitch of the at bat to Satin, and he fouls one down the right field side. Now to play. So he's making Wood work hard here, leading off in the 6th inning with Turner on deck.
I see where St. Louis has jumped out early on Milwaukee, 6-0 in the 2nd.
Cardinals lost last night, 6-3 to the Brewers. Beltran has a home run in that 2nd inning for St. Louis, his 22nd. Again, the 3-2, and Satin bounces one foul.
Well,
so this marathon continues.
We talked about last night about the wild card, which is tight, but also for best record. And the Braves have something to come and play for. They've only got a 2-game lead over the Pirates, who won last night. They've won 2 in a row, and 3 over LA, who won last night. So they're fighting for best record. And home, here comes the blimp's shadow again.
And it's inside, ball 4, and on the 10th pitch of the at bat, Satin works out a leadoff walk. Time to check in with Jonas Schwartz in the studio for a game break presented by your local Tri-Honda dealers. We'll see whether Westbrook can hold it. He's been really struggling.
Yes,
lately.
he's kind of the weak link. Here comes the shadow. Watch, folks. You see it right there. I don't have to point it out to you. I would step out.
Yeah.
How about that?
Especially with the lefty pitch.
No thanks.
Here's Justin Turner, and he pops one up. Simmons going back. He's going to have a tough play over the shoulder, and he grabs it.
What a nice play.
Well, he is a terrific young shortstop, and he made this catch look easy.
This is a nice play. It's not that easy. You got to keep running. When you think that you're got it underneath, under control in your hand, you got to keep running. And Satin does the right thing here. Gets halfway. Nicely done. Nice base running.
So 1 out and 1 on for Wilmer Flores, who's been on base twice. He walked and singled to center.
Got a hit and run here with Wilmer.
John Buck, the number 8 hitter, on deck. And he went around. 1-1 to Flores. The last time the Mets faced Alex Wood here in late July, they knocked him out in the 5th inning. He gave up 4 runs and 8 hits. But 4 starts he's made since then, he's been great. And he's been very good again today. And that curveball sits high. 2-1. The 4 starts since that start here at Citi Field for Wood, 2-0, 1.78. Today, he's allowed the leadoff hitter to reach base in 4 of 6 innings. And so far, only 1 has scored.
He showed a lot of poise.
Well, if you're going to play hit and run, now would be the time to do it.
Now you got to wait for a 3-2 count, hope for a 3-2 count, and you can let the runner loose.
And Terry's not a big advocate of hit and run.
No.
But he's been using it more lately. Picking his spots. 2-2 to Flores. And he lays off the breaking ball in the dirt, and it's 3-2.
Mets got their wish. Full count. Stay out of 2.
Well, the downside of sending Satin is if Flores strikes out, Satin's a dead duck.
You gotta roll the dice here and have faith in Flores, and best possible scenario is something to the right side of the infield for a base hit.
Wood has only struck out 3 today. Satin runs, Flores strikes out, and Laird throws out Satin by a mile. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, and that does it for the Mets in the 6th inning. 4th strikeout for Wood. 1-1 ball game. chance to meet us. Plus, win our SNY bobblehead. Don't miss out on your chance to win the Gary, Keith, and Ron bobblehead sweepstakes. To enter, visit Facebook and like SNY today. Beautiful aerial look at Citi Field on a beautiful summer afternoon. John Neese in a 1-1 duel with Alex Wood as we go to the 7th inning. Gerald Laird leads off. Laird has one of the 4 Braves hits today, a double down the left field line in the 5th. It'll be Laird, then Turdoslavich and B.J. Upton in the 7th. And Neese for a rare time today is behind in the count 2-0. John was cruising with a 1-0 lead, retired the first 2 batters in the 6th. He was ahead in the count on Jason Hayward, and then he hit Hayward in the jaw with a pitch. Gave up a couple of hits after that cost him a run before getting through the 6th inning. Now he started the 7th by falling behind Laird 3-0, and he walked him on 4 pitches. So not the way Neese wanted to start this 7th inning. His 2nd walk of the day. The Mets bullpen to this point is quiet, as Neese is about to throw his 90th pitch of the afternoon, with Joey Turdoslavich coming up. Turdoslavich getting the start in left field today, just his 8th big league start. He's taken a call, 3rd strike, and flied out to right. His biggest contribution was a terrific over-the-shoulder catch to take an extra base hit away from Daniel Murphy. And he takes a strike.
Like the way Neese is pitching. This is his 3rd start since the coming off the DL, and this is his best start so far. He's really been precise. I think he just got rattled, Gary, that last inning after when he hit Hayward in the head.
Line the other way. That's going to fall for a base hit. Laird goes to 2nd, and so the Braves have 1st and 2nd and nobody out. Well, the last 6 batters, 5 of them have reached for Atlanta. Turdoslavich with his 1st hit of the day, and that'll get Dan Worth into the phone if he can open it.
They better get together what the bunt here, because Upton has been so bad. They're going to bunt.
Dan almost needed David Ortiz to open that phone for him.
Are we aware of a bunt here? Where's Josh Satin?
I don't know how much BJ has been asked to bunt, but the way he's been going, I think you have to
bunt. And they're not. I'm shocked.
Slow ground ball. The only play for Flores is to 1st in time to get Upton, so it has the effect of a sacrifice.
Wow, the Braves got a little luck there. I am surprised at that. I would have had the bunt on. Well, it's a swinging bunt, Garrett. Well, if you walk Giannis, who's struggling, they're going to pinch hit.
What is BJ talking to the umpire about? Is he saying that was a foul ball?
If he's saying it's a foul ball, he should keep his mouth shut and take the out.
Well, the way he's been going, you might be right, but I believe that's what BJ is contending, that he fouled the ball off his foot.
Oh. And he might be right, but would you take one for the team, maybe?
Well, the thing is, he ran to 1st base. If you think you fouled the ball off your foot, why would you run to 1st base?
What's his mindset?
So 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, and now Paul Giannis. The Mets bring the infield halfway, and Giannis swings and misses at a cutter, 0-1.
He ran. Well, he stopped a little bit at first. But, you know, you got to take it for the team.
Giannis hits it hard, just foul. That was almost 2 runs. But Giannis just yanked it. And now Neese is ahead of him 0-2.
Duck. In at the corners, the Mets.
Neese could really use a strikeout. He's fanned 7 today. And he misses with a changeup, 1-2.
Bit surprised on the infield D base hit. Well, they're already ahead. You got to try to cut it off. My fault. I thought it was a 1-run game. It's tied. My fault. Scratch that.
1-2 on Giannis, who has tried to bunt his way on and popped up to the pitcher and then lined out to center field. Laird a slow runner at third. Terdoslavich at second with 1 out. And now Buck wants to talk to Neese.
Really some fine pitched ball games that we've been seeing of late, which is nice to see.
Well, the Mets have pitched better and better as the year has gone along. I mean, Matt Harvey got off to the great start, but you had so many other pitchers struggling earlier in the year, whether it was Neese or G. Pedro Feliciano first met up in the Mets bullpen, and the bullpen has completely turned it around after struggling for the first 3 months. Mets are now overall 6th in the National League in staff ERA. They were near the bottom early in the season. Here's the 1-2 to Giannis, and it's up and away.
Didn't miss by much.
Jordan Walden
with the unorthodox motion.
Big batter here for Neese.
Squeezes on, he bunts it, and to let it roll, and it goes foul. Strike 3. So a 2-strike squeeze play, and Satin wisely let it roll, and it went foul, and Giannis is a strikeout victim for the second out.
I have never seen a 2-strike squeeze. This is a first, and I can't agree with it. I cannot agree with this.
Well, I have seen a 2-strike squeeze, but I've never seen it with runners at second and third.
I am completely befuddled.
So 2 remain in scoring position, but now 2 out, and now the Braves will go to their bench, and Philip Goslin, who just arrived in the big leagues a few days ago, will be the pinch hitter. He's had just 6 big league at bats. They brought him up to play some second base after first Dan Uggla went on the disabled list with LASIK surgery, and then Tyler Pasternak tore up his knee. So Goslin will be the pinch hitter. And the Mets will be getting their first look at him.
One thing's for certain, you're going to catch the. They're going to walk him intentionally too, Gary.
And bring up the left-hand hitter Jordan Schaefer. Now they've got Evan Gattis on the bench who they can use to pinch hit, presuming that Justin Upton is not available. He was not in the starting lineup for the second straight day with the sore upper back. So some wheels turning here. Goslin, just 6 at bats deep into his major league career, gets an intentional walk. Well, there's Gattis. Doesn't look like they're going to use him. So it'll be a lefty-lefty matchup here with Neese and Schaefer.
Now the 2-strike squeeze, Gary, you're going to catch the defense by surprise. All you got to do is put it in fair territory, anywhere down the, except back to the pitcher, and it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that because, you know, the worst that's going to happen is you butt it foul when it's strike 3. Right?
It's got to have a good bunter up there.
But with second and third, you got a chance to drive in 2 with a base hit, and that's the part that I think is surprising.
Now you got Schaefer 2 for 18 against left-handers this year.
He has not faced them much, so this will be his first at bat of the game. He came in as a pinch runner for Hayward when he got hit with a pitch in the 6th and stayed in the game. And the cutter misses. Caught the outside corner. 0-1 to Schaefer. Maybe a generous call by Greg Gibson, but it puts Neese ahead in the count. Bases loaded, 2 out, tie game, 7th inning. And Schaefer takes another one. That's a strike, and it's 0-2.
Oh, the Fanny flew out.
Schaefer started yesterday in center field, went 1 for 4. Neese trying to put an end to this top of the 7th. 0-2. Up and in, 1-2.
Like that pitch?
You know what strikes me? John has thrown almost no curveballs today.
And the curveball has been a very good pitch.
And that's been his bread and butter for years. But it has not appeared today more than a couple of times. Laird, Terdoslavich, and Goslin, the base runners with 2 out. 1-2 to Schaefer. There's the curveball, and he bounced it. And Buck knocks it down.
Beautiful block by John. They want it up, and it's a slider. I don't get the high target with a slider.
got to be the pitch of decision for Neese. He doesn't want to go to 3-2 with the bases full.
He's going to stay away.
Two and two to Schaefer. He struck him out. John Neese with two big strikeouts. 9 for the afternoon to match his season high, and he keeps the game tied at the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Get extended coverage of today's Mets-Braves finale with live reports from Citi Field, plus heated debate on the latest news from Jets and Giants camp on Loudmouths, presented by Caesars Atlantic City, today at 5:30 only on SNY.
Okay. Here's the question for you, Mr. Gary Cohn, for the Stump Gary AT&T Stump Gary question. Who gave up number 24 when Willie Mays joined the Mets? I know you're going to get that one.
That was in 1972. In May, the Mets traded a pitcher named Charlie Williams to the Giants to get Willie Mays. As you see Jordan Walden on to pitch for the Braves. And the Mets had a veteran first baseman, outfielder named Jim Beecham, who gave up number 24 and took number 5 instead.
Shoot fire, hum baby.
Oh, you know Jim.
I played with Jim in AAA, believe it or not, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was trying to get back in the big leagues. He used to always say, shoot fire, hum baby. That was his nickname. I believe Beecham was part of that big trade with Joe Morgan from Cincinnati. And you would be right, Gary. And you think it would be Beauchamp, but it's Beecham.
I got a better question, or an adjunct question. Who was the first Met to wear number 24 after Willie Mays? 2-2 to John Buck. And he only wore it for a few days before they realized the error of their ways and he switched numbers. It was a little known career minor leaguer named Kelvin Torvey, who wore number 24 for a few days in error, I believe. Swing and a miss, and Buck is down on strikes. Of course, Ricky Henderson wore 24 as a Met, but that was with Willie's permission.
Right.
Eric Young will be the pinch hitter batting for John Neese. John with a tremendous outing today. The only time he ran into the trouble was after he hit Hayward with a 2-out pitch in the 6th inning and then gave up back-to-back hits to bring in a run. Got himself into and out of trouble in the 7th. So John goes 7, allows 1 run and 5 hits, 2 walks, make it 3 walks, 1 intentional, and 9 strikeouts. Second straight start that Neese has struck out 9. 1 shy of his career high. Young had the day off today, pinch hitting now. He had an active day on the bases and in the field yesterday. He was 1 for 4, stole 2 bases, scored 2 runs, and made a diving catch in left field. Gonzalez Herman getting ready to pitch the 8th inning. Corners in against Young, and he takes up and away from Walden, 2-0.
Oh, yet another brave pitcher that looks like he has a tremendous future ahead of him. And Alex Wood, excuse me.
Wood went 6, allowed a run on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and the Josh Satin home run, the only run against him. Walden recently back from a stint on the sidelines. He got hit by a line drive off his thumb and had to miss about a week.
Wow,
he throws hard. 2-2.
And he's got the funkadelic motion where he lifts that back foot.
Just flies off the mound at the hitter.
You remember the funkadelics?
Parliament. Funkadelic. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Walden. 2 out of the inning. Well, we have a preliminary report on Jason Hayward. He was hit in the right jaw, and he was looked at by Mets doctors in the ballpark, and he's been taken to a local hospital for x-rays and further tests. So we'll keep you up to date on Jason Hayward and hope for the best.
Do they have an x-ray machine here?
No, they have taken x-rays in the ballpark here before, but it might be that they needed something more sophisticated. In any event, they have taken him to a local hospital.
I think every ballpark should have an x-ray machine. St. Louis Old Busch Stadium had an x-ray machine.
Lagares pops one up, and Schaefer shading his eyes stays with it to retire the side. 7 in the books now at Citi Field. Mets and Braves locked in a 1-1 duel. Brought to you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Hank Aaron never hit 50 home runs in his career. His high was 47 in 1971. It's the 73rd highest total in Major League history, yet, other than Barry Bonds. Hank Aaron has hit more home runs than anybody in Major League history.
Longevity.
And consistency.
Yes, well, Mays was pretty consistent too, wasn't he?
Didn't play in the right ballpark.
Yes, he did not. And I saw, will he use that right center field, old candlestick that was open? He can hit the ball, but I saw him turn the wind around, Gary, so many times.
Gonzalez Herman comes on to pitch the 8th inning. Herman pitched the 8th inning yesterday, allowed no runs and 1 hit. Gave the Mets 5-3 win. They'll face Andrelton Simmons, who had the big hit yesterday for the Braves with a 3-run double and has been on base 3 times today with a walk and 2 singles. It'll be Simmons, Freeman, and Johnson, 2, 3, and 4 in the order for the Braves in the 8th inning in a 1-1 game. And the first pitch changeup in for a strike to Simmons. John Neese threw 106 pitches in his 7 innings, allowed a run on 5 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, a hit batsman. Another wonderful outing for Neese, but continues a string of non-winning performances at Citi Field. In fact, John's only win at Citi Field this year came on opening day, April 1st. Since then, he's 0-4, despite pitching extremely well in his home ballpark. He's just pitched on the wrong day. And now the game in the hands of the bullpen. Herman ahead 0-2 on Simmons and uses that quick pitch, and Simmons hits it right to Turner at shortstop. And that's the first out of the inning. It's amazing what a veteran can do for a team. LaTroy Hawkins came to the table with that quick pitch, and it seems that everybody in that Mets bullpen is trying it out.
As a hitter, shame on you if you get caught with your pants down. Always be set. Don't have to come to a stop. I don't think you fooled him at all. You don't have to come to a stop on a stretch if no one's on base.
Here's Freddie Freeman, who's driven to the only Atlanta run today, and he yanks one foul. Freeman 1 for 3 on the day, single to center in the 6th inning to drive in a run.
What's interesting about Neese's performance, Gary, the 6 of his 9 strikeouts came in his final 3 innings.
And the last 2 when he really needed them. One of them in a quirky fashion on the attempted squeeze bunt with 2 strikes by Yanish. That was his 8th strikeout, with the go-ahead run at 3rd and only 1 out. And then he struck out Schaefer with the bases loaded to end that 7th and end his day. Freeman fouls back the fastball, and it's 1-2. We were talking about Jake Westbrook's ability to hold the lead. 7-0, right?
No.
7-3 now in the 3rd in Milwaukee. Ramos Ramirez with a home run. 1-2 to Freeman. Off the corner. 2-2. Behind Freeman is Chris Johnson, who's 0 for 3 today. There it is. Cardinals 2 games behind the Pirates in the NL Central. And Freeman lines one over the glove of Murphy and into right field. So Freeman has his 2nd hit of the day. It's been going that way all year for Freeman, hasn't it?
Well, he's a low ball hitter. He's a clutch hitter. He plays a very decent first base. He's not a whole lot of range, but he's not a negative in the field. But anything he can get to, he can make the play.
So here's Johnson, who's grounded out and struck out twice today. 1 for 7 in the series. And he takes a fastball strike from Herman. Johnson faced Herman last night and had a base hit to left field. That was the only base runner that Gonzalez allowed last night. And Johnson weaving at that slider. 0-2.
I was wrong about that Houston trade. Jim Beecham was not a part of that trade, Gary, and that did happen in the offseason of '71, November. That was Joe Morgan, Ed Armbruster, Jack Bellingham, Cesar Geronimo, and Dennis Menke to the Reds.
So refresh my memory. When the Reds went to the World Series in 1970, who was their second baseman?
Tommy Helms.
Here's the 0-2. Oh, that's right.
Tommy Helms in the trade.
Cincinnati.
It was for Tommy Helms, and Lee May was the big guy in the trade, and the backup outfielder Jimmy Stewart. So the Reds got 1, 2, 3, 4 ready-made. Oh boy, that was a heck of a trade for the Reds.
Yeah. Well, obviously Morgan by himself would have been enough.
Right.
I mean, he was a good player in Houston, but he became a superstar in Cincinnati.
Was that Bob Housen back then as GM?
Yeah. 1-2 to Chris Johnson. Struck him out on a pitch that hits Buck in the shin guard, and down to second base goes Freeman. Johnson can't try to go to first with first base occupied, but the Braves get the go-ahead run into scoring position on the wild pitch. So 2 out and a runner in scoring position. Let's check in quickly with Jonas Schwartz in the studio for another game break presented by Nissan. Now here's Gerald Laird, who is 1 for 2, a double and a walk today. Each team now with a run at 6 hits. Freeman at second and 2 down. And it's hit sharply to short right at Turner. He's got it. Low throw, and Satin digs it out to retire the side. Nice scoop by Josh to save Turner an error and keep the go-ahead run from scoring. Kind of a nonchalant throw by Turner, but Satin saves the day. Still 1-1.
Wow, nice play.
If a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECT-TV. Well, get to Citi Field next Tuesday, August 27th, for your Gary, Keith, and Ron bobblehead presented by SNY. The first 1,000 fans to purchase tickets to the 7-10 game against the Phillies next Tuesday at Mets.com/GKR will receive the bobblehead. That's Mets.com/GKR for tickets. And here it is. What do you think? You like this?
I don't know, Garrett. What do you think?
Ronnie's head is a little loose. It's not bobbling quite the way it should. But, you know, Ronnie's much more level-headed than the two of us, so it makes sense that his doesn't bobble quite as much.
Well, Gary, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, Keith. What do you think? Idiots. That's exactly what I was saying. Daniel Murphy leads off the home 8th inning. Each team with a run and 6 hits. Mets have 2, 3, and 4 in the order up against Jordan Walden, who works his 2nd inning in relief. Murphy falls behind on the count 1-2. Now Murphy has flipped a couple of base hits into left, then hit one deep to left, and Turdoslavich made a nice recovery and caught it coming down over his shoulder on the warning track. It's been that long, huh? 2008 that Murphy came up.
Well, we've got to show you this again. Look at the back foot on the rubber. Never seen it. What is that? I have never seen that. It's a leap. That is so bizarre.
He gets it on the hands of Murphy, and the little pop-up. Who's going to take it? And it's the third baseman, Johnson, with Giannis sliding underneath him. Johnson taking charge to make that catch.
Well, someone took charge. And it's the third baseman's ball. Oh, boy, someone could have got hurt. They both had it. Oh, ran a spike over his thigh.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Marlon Byrd is 0 for 3 today. Flied out twice and struck out. Marlon has homered in each of the last 2 games. He has never homered in 3 straight games in his career. This would be a good time for him. And Marlin with a bad cut at the fastball. 0-2. Time for your lows never stop improving. 20 home runs, 70 RBI seasons for National League outfielders this year. Well, there have only been 4. Dominic Brown, Carlos Gonzalez, Jay Bruce, and Marlon Byrd. Not sure you would have bet on that when the season began. But he has had himself an extraordinary year. Here's the 0-2. And he goes down swinging on the high fastball. Well, Walden's faced 5 batters, retired them all, and struck out 3 of the 5.
Marlon's had a tough day today. Probably been a good day for him to sit, but he's got an off day tomorrow.
That, my friends, was a serious Cholula, a 98-mile-an-hour flamethrower.
So now you always think in terms of, here's Andrew Brown coming up, that a pitcher that throws bullets really drives off the rubber with that back foot on the rubber. But Walden leaps. He vacates the rubber and still throws 98. I don't understand it.
There's only one other pitcher I can remember, and it was a guy who was only in the big leagues briefly, but I remember it because he was unique. The Rockies had a pitcher named Eddie House who jumped off the rubber, something like that, but he didn't last. This guy has become a premier reliever.
Now, they acquired him from California, right? The Angels?
From the Angels, yeah. We first saw him with the Angels.
I shouldn't call them California, right? Look at that. That is just bizarre.
He's ahead on Brown 0-2. And Andrew, at 99 miles an hour, able to foul it back.
He's like a javelin thrower.
He could team with Josh Colmenter, the tomahawk thrower.
They're similar.
Again, the 0-2 to Brown. Andrew 0 for 3 today, installed as the cleanup hitter against the left-hander Wood. Alex Wood went 6 innings, allowed a run on 6 hits. Brown was 0 for 3 against him, and now facing a tough right-hander in Walden. And he goes down on strikes. Quite an outing for Jordan Walden. 2 perfect innings with 4 strikeouts. We go to the 9th at Citi Field. Mets and Braves tied at 1. affiliate banks. Visit them on the web at mynycb.com. By Geico and by AT&T. Rethink possible. So Troy Hawkins will come into a tie game in the 9th inning.
Well, 5 of 6 since taking over for Parnell. He's been outstanding.
Worked a 1-2-3 9th inning yesterday for his 5th save through just 12 pitches. Right back at it today. Joey Turdoslavich will bat left-handed for the first time today, and he takes high. Turdoslavich 1 for 3 batting right-handed against John Neese, who went 7, allowed a run on 5 hits, struck out 9. Gonzalez Herman a scoreless 8th, and now Hawkins in the 9th. And Turdoslavich takes a strike, 1-1.
Interesting how Hawkins had briefly early in his career some chances at closing and was not successful. But now the veteran, he's right at home.
Well, he's doing what his team needs. I mean, he was a starter, didn't go well. He was a closer, didn't go well. Really found his niche as a setup man, but Terry Collins needed him. Identified him after Ardsma got the first crack at being a closer, but he blew his first save opportunity, and Hawkins kind of fell into it, and he's done well. Whether Bobby Parnell is going to come back, very much in question. He may need surgery on the herniated disc in his neck, so it might be Hawkins for the rest of the season. 1-2 to Turdoslavich, and he wastes that fastball. Hawkins not throwing as hard as he did last night when he was throwing 95. But that's been an issue all year with the Mets' older relievers, with Atchison and with Hawkins, their availability on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the bullpen has been, all in all, very solid.
One, 2. Strike 3 call. Got him looking at the fastball. Turdoslavich out, 1 out in the top of the 9th.
Good paint right here. Oh, we got the call too. That's the side of the plate that home plate umpire Greg Gibson likes to call.
In the Atlanta bullpen, Craig Kimbrell is up, Luis Avilan alongside. Here's B.J. Upton, who's 0 for 3, and he hits one in the air to right field, and Marlon Byrd is right there for the second out. So Upton now 0 for his last 24, and there are 2 out in the top of the 9th. The Mets are due to send up Satin, Turner, and Flores in the bottom of the 9th, 3 right-hand batters, so you wonder why is Avilan up? Well, the Mets have plenty of left-handed bats on their bench, including Ike Davis. And you would assume that Kimbrell's not going to come in unless there's a save opportunity. Here's Paul Janisch, who's 0 for 3 today. He was the one who tried that 2-strike suicide squeeze in the 7th inning, bunted it foul, and was a strikeout victim, a key out for John Neese today. It'll be very interesting to hear Freddie Gonzalez's take on that after the game. I mean, Janisch hasn't hit much, but when you've got runners at second and third and a hitter at the plate, it's a strange call with a 2-strike squeeze. Going away, 2 balls, no strikes to Janisch. Gonzalez has Brian McCann out on deck to pinch hit if Janisch can keep the inning going. Hawkins behind 2-0. And there's a strike, 2-1. There's McCann, who got the day off today against the left-hander with a day game after a night game. And that was judged inside, I guess, a pitch that's been a strike for most of the day.
I thought it was in a little bit too much. Let's see. Oh, he's been given that. He didn't call it that time.
So now Hawkins behind Janisch, 3-1. And he popped it up. Justin Turner tracking it. Side retired. A 1-2-3 top of the 9th for LaTroy Hawkins. Now the Mets will try and win it in their final turn at bat with Satin, Turner, and Flores coming up. who homered in the 4th inning, his second big league home run. And it's Satin who will lead off for the Mets in the bottom of the 9th against the young left-hander Luis Avilan, who has been so important to the Braves' fortunes this year.
Well, O'Flaherty and Venner's down opened the door for Luis Avilan, and he took advantage. Look at that number. Look at those numbers. Outstanding.
His second big league season, he's got that crazy whip of 0.865. Satin has been on base 3 times in a row, and he hits the first pitch right back to Avilan. 1 pitch and 1 out in the last of the 9th. So Satin retired for the first time today, and it'll bring up Justin Turner. It's 9 Mets in a row that have been retired since a walk to Satin to lead off the 6th. Jordan Walden threw 2 perfect innings in relief. And now Avilan's gotten his first man. Avilan just 24 years old. Turner 0 for 3 today. Popped up to short. A nice play by Simmons his last time up, and a fastball in for a strike from Avilan. Wilmer Flores, the on deck batter. Turner hits it in the air to left field. On comes Terdoslavich toward the gap. He does. He can't get it. Turner on his way to second, and he slides in safely with a double. Well, Terdoslavich, who made such a great recovery on the Murphy ball back in the 5th, hesitated on this one, and it cost him.
Well, not fleet of foot, Terdoslavich. In Stratomatic, you'd have to give him a 4 out there. And the Mets are in business here, a base hit away from winning this ball game.
Well, for Turner, maybe that makes up for the one that Hayward caught against him last month to end the game when it looked like Turner might have a game-winning hit. This looked like a much more catchable ball, but Terdoslavich did not catch it.
Terdoslavich was looking as if he wanted Upton to make the play.
So now it's Wilmer Flores at the plate, John Buck on deck. The winning run at second with 1 out. Flores is 1 for 2 and a walk today, and they will pitch to him. And Wilmer grounds one to the right side. In front of it is Yanish. Throws out Flores for the second out as Turner goes to third. So now the potential winning run 90 feet away, and John Buck coming up. Mets are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position today. They're going to walk Buck intentionally. Travis d'Arnaud has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter, and they would prefer to face the rookie rather than facing the veteran. So an intentional pass to Buck, and that'll give d'Arnaud a chance to be a hero.
Well, I can't second guess this at all.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez would rather go after the rookie who had his first big league hit last night.
Always. Always.
This will be the first major league pinch hitting assignment for d'Arnaud, who had started 4 straight games until today.
Be nice for him to be a hero, wouldn't it?
And there's ball 4 to Buck. So he's aboard. Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night at 10:30, we'll look at the football and the baseball. Hashtag SNY Sports Night, 10:30 tonight, right here on SNY.
The sinker baller, Avilan.
So you have to stay alert to the wild pitch. d'Arnaud, the only right-handed bat available for Terry Collins. He's got 3 lefties on the bench. So that's why d'Arnaud gets the call here with the winning run at third and 2 out. Travis 1 for 11 in his major league career, a double last night. And he takes a fastball for a strike from Avilan. Turner doubled. Buck was intentionally walked. 1-1 last of the ninth. And Darno watches wide as Laird backhands it, a ball and a strike. 24-year-old Luis Avilan facing 24-year-old Travis Darno. Bryce and Atchison both ready, hoping there's no 10th inning to pitch. 1-1, and the curveball misses outside. 2-1 to Darno.
Go to hitting here.
Well, the one thing about Avilan in this spot, he's got a base to play with, so it doesn't have to be too aggressive.
Got a right-hand hitting Lagares up next. They're going to go after they're going to go after Darno.
2-1 coming, and Darno takes ball 3. Low and inside with the fastball. Laird says to Avilan, stay calm.
Three and one. Get a fastball on it. If it's a curveball not to your liking, spit on it.
3-1 to Travis Darno, and he fouls off the fastball. 3-2. Well, the other day in Minnesota, Darno got a hit sign on 3-0. He said he told himself the entire time, don't overswing, don't overswing. And then he overswung.
Oh, we've all been there.
It's another one of those situations, right?
When you're young, and you got the adrenaline flowing.
All it takes is a bloop to win it for New York. Three-2 to Darno, and he walked him, and the bases are loaded. Well, Darno has been outstanding at that, hasn't he? That's 6 walks now in his first 17 big league plate appearances.
A tough pitch to take right there. It's almost you don't want to walk in this situation. You want to drive it in, and it's low. But he was in no position to swing. So it was see his butt flying out. He was fortunate that ball was out of the strike zone.
So it falls from Darno into the hands of Juan Lagares, who's 1 for 4 today. A pop fly double that he hustled into 2 bases in the 5th. Third baseman Johnson has to shorten up because Lagares has certainly shown a propensity the last few days of trying to bunt for hits. Bases loaded, 2 out. And Lagares does try to bunt and fouls it off. He was trying to push it toward Freeman, who was playing back at first base.
Don't like it. Swing the bat. Quite a ball game.
Lagares, the 4th rookie to bat for the Mets here in the 9th inning. Satin, Flores, Darno, and now Lagares trying to win it. And he takes it high, 1-1.
A little dicier for the pitcher, Gary, when the bases are loaded.
Well, the Giants beat the Red Sox in a walk-off walk last night. Lagares is not the guy you expect, though, to draw a walk. He's a very aggressive hitter. 1-1. Chopper. Simmons waiting for it. And the flip just in time to get Darno, and we're heading to extra innings at Citi Field. Mets leave 3 in the 9th. On to the 10th we go. Tied at 1. 7th inning at Citi Field.
Well, on that long West Coast trip, Scott went 1-1 on that trip. His last outing was the makeup game in Twinkie Land in Minneapolis. Had a scoreless inning in Dylan G's W. And he's been solid, Atchison, the veteran.
The Mets will play their 17th extra inning game of the season. The Mets have already played 51 extra innings this year. The franchise record is 60. We'll see if they can reach that today or not. Brian McCann will be the pinch hitter, leading off in the 10th inning. Can't believe I didn't even get a reaction from you on that.
I was not paying attention. That's why.
I figured that was it.
I was doing my scorecard. Sorry. What was that? What was that you said?
I said that the Mets have played 51 extra innings this year.
Oh.
And the franchise record is 60, and we'll see if they get there today. That's what I said.
And how many have they played?
McCann last night was 1 for 4, pinch hitting here for the pitcher leading off in the 10th, and Atchison quickly falls behind him 2-0. Well, Craig Kimbrell is up again, hoping for a save opportunity. David Carpenter beside him if the Braves don't score. And Atchison quickly behind on McCann, 3-0. McCann will swing 3-0.
I think he'll be taken here. And will they pinch run for him? And they got anybody? They got Upton that can run. They got no one to run for him. Oh,
foul.
Good call, Gare.
Yeah. McCann has reached the point in his career where he's often looking in these spots to hit it out of the ballpark. He's got 18 home runs this year. You see what the Mets have done in extra innings this season. 3-1 to McCann, and he swings and flies one to shallow center, but right there is Lagares. 1 out. So that's a big sigh of relief for Atchison after falling behind McCann 3-0. He retires him. Now Jordan Schaefer, who came in the game when Jason Hayward was hit in the jaw by a John Neese pitch in the 6th inning. Schaefer's lone at bat came in the 7th. He came up with the bases loaded and 2 out, and Neese struck him out to end his afternoon. Neese went 7, allowed a run on 5 hits, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Mets got a scoreless inning from Herman and another from Hawkins. And now Atchison pitching the 10th. And Schaefer takes a fastball just off the plate for ball 1. Schaefer started last night in center field, went 1 for 4. He's had a resurgence this year with the Braves. And he has taken over most of the playing time in center field away from B.J. Upton. As much because of Schaefer's success as Upton's failures. Atchison last pitched on Monday in Minnesota. He worked a scoreless 9th inning to put the Raps on a 6-1 win. And Schaefer bluffing a bunt. 2-1. And a letter I strike with a fastball. 2-2.
I never could understand these guys that hit with sunglasses. I know it's glary, but boy, you just need to see that white horse-eyed.
2-2. Bounce foul.
Against the red stitches, it's just got to be that distinct to pick up spin. I wouldn't want any kind of sunglasses, even those ones I used to.
Blue blockers?
The blue blockers.
That's my favorite infomercial of all time. Keith and the blue blockers. That's better than Ron Popeil. Fly ball right field.
Oh boy.
Just got under that as Bird waits for it to come down. 2 out. Schaefer with a mighty cut. He's hit 3 home runs this year, but not that time.
Just got under it. He was on it. A high fastball.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Andrelton Simmons, who's 2 for 3 and a walk today. Simmons 3 for 6 in this series. Had the 3-run double for the Braves for their only runs yesterday. Their only run today came on a Freddie Freeman RBI single in the 6th. Now, this is a Braves team that lately has been manufacturing more runs, but So far in this series, they've been more of the all or nothing Braves we're used to seeing. Lots of home runs, lots of strikeouts. Ball and a strike to Simmons, who barely missed a home run last night when he drilled one just foul down the left field line. That was high enough, but not straight enough. And curveball from Atchison for a strike, 1-2.
Boy, feeding Simmons nothing but breaking stuff.
Atchison is so reliant on his cutter. Buck wants it, and Simmons pops it up shallow center, and Murphy can't get to it. It's a base hit for Simmons, his third of the day. So a little pop fly single for Simmons sets the stage for Freddie Freeman with a man on in the 10th.
And that's going to be all for Atchison.
Now with the left-hand hitter coming up, Scott Rice, back to being every minute Rice, will come on again to try and get one key out. He did that last night against Freeman. He'll try and do it again. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Wireless. 1-1 of the 10th. We'll be right back. His league-leading 66th appearance of the season. Each of the last 2 days has been called upon to get one big left-hand hitter out. Monday it was Justin Morneau. Yesterday it was Freddie Freeman, and he'll go after Freeman again with a runner at first and 2 out of the 10th. Freeman 2 for 4 today, drove in the only Atlanta run with a 6th-inning single. He has broken the Mets' hearts more than once this year, most notably with his walk-off home run against Dylan G back in June.
Well, low ball pitcher, low ball hitter, but a hard sinker down and in if he throws it properly. It's a tough pitch to lift. Most importantly, you look at the defense. Pretty much straight up, a little bit to the opposite field in the outfield, is that Rice got him out in a tough situation last night on a fastball in. Beat him inside.
Got him on a fly ball to left, and now he gets ahead of him with the off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2.
Good slider after a fastball. Well, that's a sinker. I tell you what, that is a. I am so happy that Scott Rice has found confidence in his sinker. It is more effective than his slider.
Now ahead on Freeman, 0-2. And he bounces that changeup. 1-2.
It's such an interesting story, Gary, that Scott Rice here just pined and pined in the minor leagues. Never got a shot. And you're watching him grow in 1 year on a big league level. It's incredible. It's a great story.
14 years in the minor leagues. Tempted to quit on a couple of occasions, but stuck it out. Made a big league roster this year, and he's been here all year, getting outs just about every day. 1-2 to Freeman. Back to Rice. He knocks it down, has to chase after it. The quick throw. Safe. Very close play, but Freeman able to beat it out. And Terry Collins will come out to argue the call with Jerry Lane, the first base umpire.
I think he has an argument. Let's take a peek. It's close.
Naked eye.
Not a good stretch by Josh, not a first baseman. He's out.
He was by an eyelash. Very, very close play. So the Mets do not get the benefit of that call from Jerry Lane. And now the potential go-ahead run is at second base with Chris Johnson coming up. And that'll force Terry Collins to make another pitching change. He'll want the right-hander to face Johnson. You know, Rice made the pitch. He got the comebacker, couldn't handle it cleanly, should have had the out, but didn't get the call. And Greg Burke will come in to try and get a king-size out here in the 10th, with the game still tied at 1. July 19th, he's called upon to get a big out here in the 10th.
Tough spot for Mr. Burke, who's been up and down all year long.
He was called back when Henry Mejia went on the disabled list. Simmons at second, Freeman at first with 2 out, and Chris Johnson, who until yesterday was leading the National League in batting, will come up. He's 0 for 4 today with 3 strikeouts, 1 for 8 in the series.
Well, the Mets have handled him in this 2-game series thus far.
And he hits it in the air to deep left field. Back goes Brown to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. First pitch thrown by Greg Burke, and Chris Johnson hits a 3-run homer to give the Braves a 4-1 lead in the 10th inning. The 10th home run of the year for Johnson. And after the Mets were on the short end of a bad call at first base a moment ago, the very next pitch leaves the ballpark, and Terry Collins comes right back out to Jerry Lane.
He's going to get run.
To continue to argue that last call.
He's going to get run for doing this, unless Jerry's very patient. I've never seen a manager go back after a play and argue again. I'm surprised that Jerry hasn't run him.
Well, Terry obviously went and looked at the replay, or had somebody look at the replay, and he's saying this inning should be over. We should be in the dugout. We should be batting, and instead we give up the 3-run homer, which is not Jerry Lane's fault, but it was Lane's bad call that gave him the opportunity. And once Terry threw the hat, it was inevitable that he'd be thrown out of the game. And he leaves his hat behind.
And he went out with the intent to be run.
So Collins is ejected.
Down and in, even off the strike zone, maybe inside. He just dropped the barrel. Low ball hitter, Johnson, and boy, oh boy, that is a big blow. Remember, he was hitting with two outs, runners in scoring position, over 400.
Meanwhile, Daniel Murphy was just taken out of the game. Omar Quintanilla comes in to play shortstop, and Justin Turner moves to second. I'm not quite sure why. Here's Gerald Laird, and he fouls one back. So Turner is now at second, and Quintanilla comes in the game at short as Murphy comes out. Do you see anything involving Murph?
I don't know. I don't understand that.
I can only imagine it's an injury situation. In any event, Laird is the batter. 1 for 3, a double back in the 5th inning. Now the Mets had taken care of Chris Johnson this entire series. 3 strikeouts today, but Burke, whose last outing for the Mets was against the Phillies, he gave up 4 runs in a 13-8 loss a little over a month ago. First pitch he throws back in the big leagues, and Johnson makes it disappear. And Laird fouls it off. It may be that Murphy was ejected, and that might have been what brought Terry out of the dugout that second time. That he continued to beef about the call, and that Jerry Lane threw him out, and that's why Terry came out to protect Murphy, and that's why Murphy's out of the game.
And that would be what went down. So we're going to see Mr. Kimbrel here in the bottom half.
Laird strikes out to end the inning, but the damage done. Chris Johnson with a 3-run homer off Greg Burke after a bad call at first base put the Mets in jeopardy. Johnson's 10th home run of the year, the 8th Brave to reach 10 home runs this season, and this one gives Atlanta a 4-1 lead in the 10th. In the nearly automatic hands of Craig Kimbrell to try and get the save.
Well, they've been tough on Kimbrell. Last time Kimbrell was here, remember, they made it very difficult. Hayward made that terrific catch in center field off the bat of Turner to end the ball game, but they made him work for that save. But he's got a 3-run cushion here, and that's going to be very tough.
And he has converted 29 consecutive save opportunities. Bob Guerin, the bench coach, with the lineup card after Terry Collins was ejected. Daniel Murphy was ejected right before Collins, and that's why Omar Quintanilla is up to lead off the home 10th. Well, it was this play that caused the issue where Freeman appeared to be out for the 3rd out of the inning, but was called safe by Jerry Lane. Ball was in Sattin's glove before Freeman hit the bag.
Clearly blew the call.
And then as Chris Johnson was rounding the bases on his home run, watch the first base umpire Lane point to Murphy, throw him out of the game.
So Murph said something. You know what? If you get around, get your 2 cents in. Murph just kind of walks in. You get in his face. You might as well get your money's worth.
Well, you don't want to get suspended.
Well, no.
Quintanilla out on 3 pitches, so Kimbrell starts the bottom of the 10th with a strikeout. And that's what led Terry to come out and get himself ejected.
So
we missed that initially watching the aftermath of Johnson's home run. But behind the play, Lane was ejecting Murphy from the game. So now Marlon Byrd with 1 out. And he manages to make bare contact, 0-1.
Well, the pitchers of record are going to be Atchison and Avalon.
29 straight save opportunities converted since May the 9th. That's a new franchise record. Broke John Smoltz's record of 27. Well, 2 key junctures in this game after the Mets led 1-0. Hayward hit by the pitch with 2 out in the 6th, and then Neese gave up 2 straight hits, maybe a little shaken after hitting Hayward. That enabled the Braves to tie the game, and then the bad call at first base, opening the door with 2 out for the Braves in the 10th inning. And again, they take advantage, this time the 3-run homer by Johnson. So a Braves team that has come from behind to win 38 times this year, on the verge of number 39. One-two to Bird, and he pops one up along the right field line, right near that short fence, and it lands right up against that fence.
Boy, tough play right there. It's better chance for the right fielder or the second baseman. Giannis couldn't get there.
Freeman got closest.
It's really the right fielder's ball, but he couldn't get there. Tough play for the first baseman over the shoulder with dealing with that wall.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle there. That side wall, the way it juts out and is so short, so if you hit it, you can flip right over. And Marlin keeps the Mets alive with a 1-out single. So the Mets need 1 more base runner to get the tying run to the plate here in the 10th. Bird's first hit of the day, and now Andrew Brown will come up. Brown has gone 0 for 4.
Mm.
97 from Kimbrell, 0-1.
So sticking with Brown here, you had Baxter and Davis. Saving Davis for a 3-run clout if 2 men get on base, obviously.
Last year, Kimbrell became the first pitcher in history to strike out more than half the batters he faced. Not quite at this pace, that pace this year. 77 strikeouts in 50 innings. There's Ike with the bat in his hands. If Brown gets on, then Davis would bat for Satin, I'm sure. And Brown pops one foul back into the crowd. 1-2. Well, the Mets had themselves a chance in the 9th inning. A 1-out double from Turner. Got to third with 2 out. A couple of walks later, Lagares batted with the bases loaded and hit the ground ball to short for a fielder's choice that sent the game on to the 10th. As Avilan got in and out of trouble. And Brown bounces one down to third. Johnson gets the out at second. The relay by Yanish not in time. And the Mets are still alive.
Oh, sarcastic applause for Jerry Lane.
So now it's Josh Satin. And Ike Davis comes out on deck. So Satin could get on, then Ike would come up as the tying run. Satin's had a good day today. On base 3 times, including his 2nd home run of the year. That came in the 4th inning for the Mets' only run today. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Really a tough break for the Mets on that call at first.
And the slider from Kimbrel misses. 1-1. Well, the Mets got another tremendous outing from John Neese today. 7 innings, allowed just 1 run and struck out 9. But Alex Wood was almost as good, and the Braves bullpen has held the Mets at bay.
All in all, it's been a really, really good ball game.
There's Ike Davis looming on deck, hoping he gets a turn after hitting a monstrous home run in his last at bat last night. Two and one to Satin, trying to get on base any way he can. And Josh fouls it off, and now the Mets are down to their last strike. Well, the Mets get a chance to breathe tomorrow. After San Diego Sunday, Minnesota Monday, back home Tuesday, day game after a night game today. Mets finally get an off day tomorrow and reconvene Friday night against the Tigers here at Citi Field. 2-2 to Josh Satin. And he takes it high. 3-2.
Interesting.
Kimbrel has walked 17 to go with his 77 strikeouts in 50 innings this year. Satin's already been on base 3 times today. Brown will run. And Satin skies one to center field. Playable for B.J. Upton. And that puts the wraps on it. The 3-run homer by Chris Johnson in the top of the 10th inning after the Mets were on the short end of a bad call. Proves decisive. And Kimbrel puts on the finishing touches as the Braves get a split of the 2-game series, beating the Mets today 4-1.
Well, a really fine played ball game, decided on a bad call at first, the home run it followed. Neese just threw a terrific game. That's the best he's thrown his 3rd start since coming back from the disabled list. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. The bullpen was solid. Just a 3-run home run given up by Burke that coughed up the game.
Burke's first pitch since coming back from the minor leagues was the unfortunate one for the Mets today. The game summary presented by Modell's. Atchison takes the loss. Kimbrel gets his 40th save of the year and his 30th in a row without a blown one. Chris Johnson, the big blow, his 10th home run, a 3-run homer in the top of the 10th. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Optimum. Mets games are available in superior HD TV on Optimum TV. By People's United Bank. Know-how that's helped customers succeed for 170 years. That's People's United Bank. what know-how can do. Member FDIC. By Honda, get a great deal on a new car you'll love at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. And by Pepsi, live for now. Final score this afternoon in 10 innings, the Braves 4 and the Mets 1. Mets are back in action on Friday night. That game will be on Pix 11 with Carlos Torres on the mound against Doug Fister, 7 o'clock on Pix 11. Our next SNY telecast, the final game of that series on Sunday afternoon with Dylan G starting against Rick Porcello. Coverage begins on Sunday at 12:30. Now for Keith Hernandez, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason Postgame Live. Chris Carlin and Jim Duquette. Guys.